Welcome to Parev-TV. Some 2 years ago, on July the 2nd, 2018, Dr. Haykak Arshamyan was appointed Executive Director of Hayasdan All Armenian Fund. Today, we are really honored that he's joining us from Armenia. It is a great honor to have him join us and talk to us about his recent experiences in Lebanon. A very quick intro. Prior to joining All Armenian Fund, Dr. Haykak was an advisor to Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, as well as communication coordinator at Transparency International Anti-Corruption Center. He has 20 years of experience in the fields of education, media, public policy, PR, and communication, and he holds a PhD in history from Yerevan State University. Once again, thank you for joining us, Dr. Arshamyan. Just a few days ago, you were in Lebanon. We followed the devastation caused in Beirut blast of August the 4th. We also followed the plane loads of humanitarian support of the Armenian government and the Artsakh government to the Lebanese people. We followed the financial support Armenia Fund has lent Armenian organizations in Lebanon. What we are very interested in hearing from you in English, can you capsule your mission in Lebanon and the role Hayasdan All Armenian Fund has played in supporting those in need in Lebanon?
First of all, thank you for the invitation and thank you for this opportunity to share this discussion and thoughts about the All Armenia Fund. And first of all, I would like to emphasize that last year in 2019, we have developed our new strategy, and one of the pillars of our strategy is to support Armenian communities all over the world if there is in need. And since last year, when the political and economic crisis started in Lebanon and harmed also all Armenian institutions, educational institutions, cultural institutions, Himnadram initiated a small fundraising, and we collected around $150,000 and supported Armenian educational institutions and media, which we have there. And then, unfortunately, the blast after the blast happened in Lebanon, and the situation became very critical. And next day, the Armenian Prime Minister, who is also our board member of Hayasdan All Armenia Fund, in the beginning of the government session called all Armenians that would like to donate for this cause. He directed people to All Armenia Fund. And since there, we have collected around $300,000, and with the aim to support Armenian community in Lebanon. As you know, I also was a part of the official delegation 2 weeks ago. It was a week ago, a week later after the blast, and I saw, like, with my eyes, that what happened in reality, and people were disappointed. Some people, they didn't want even to stay in Lebanon. They wanted to leave the country, and the harm was huge. And mostly, you know, that two big Armenian populated districts of Beirut were harmed, Marmukhail and Burchamut. And right after the meetings, when I came back, we just started very active PR for our fundraising cause for Lebanese Armenians. And when we had enough money to give it to them, and also I, as a director, talked to some of our board members, talked to our Haznachumb, a committee in Lebanon, talked to community leaders in Lebanon, what to do with that money, and also talked with the other organizations who initiated fundraisings as well, as you know.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to overlap the activities and the projects, and we decided that it will be better again to continue our support to the Armenian educational institutions and media, Armenian media in Lebanon. And we agreed with that joint committee, which formed right after the blast, that these $300,000 will go to serve as a salary for Armenian school educational institutions teachers for the upcoming 3 months. So it's covered now, their salaries, and they can save that money in their budgets and use it for other purposes. Also, we donated $3,000 each to all media in Lebanon, like Azdag, Ararat, Zartong, and others. And also during this mission, we decided to help our Syrian Armenians who are in Aleppo and Damascus. And because the COVID situation is very, very bad there, so without my discussions with the ambassador in Syria, Mr. Tigran Gevorkyan, we agreed also with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we agreed that some of the money will go for the hospital services of Armenians who are there, and some of the money will be paid to the teachers and other staff of Armenian educational institutions, just as a bonus, to just give them some money to survive. And we allocated $40,000 for the medical services of Armenians in Syria, and $30,000 for teachers and other staff as a bonus. So overall, we delivered to the Middle East around $370,000.
You know, you mentioned some people who do not want to stay in Lebanon. What is the repatriation policy of the Armenian government when it comes to Lebanese Armenians? Is there a policy in place?
I'm aware that the Armenian government is preparing not a plan, but a strategy if there would be a flow of Armenians, doesn't matter if it's from Lebanon or other countries, just how to help them, how to do the absorption of our compatriots who will be new in Armenia, how to help them with housing, how to help them with work, how to help them with other stuff, and as you, I think the agency of the High Commissioner of Diaspora Affairs, they also posted on Facebook that they prepared the draft of the paper, and now it is being discussed inside the government, other agencies, and as soon as the plan will be finalized, I'm sure that it will be published, and every single Armenian all over the world will know how will be the situation or the strategy for Armenians who are in need and would like to come and live in Armenia. I don't want to use that repatriation word as a word, but I would like to say, and I'm sure that the doors of Armenia are opened for our brothers and sisters, and every single Armenian who would like to come and live in Armenia, Armenia is the place that can just do it with open hands and with big heart.
You also mentioned, as you were in Lebanon, working with other organizations who had also come with their means of support to the Lebanese Armenians. There seems to be a lot of cooperation. We all want to cooperate and help the Lebanese brothers. but there also seems to be a lack of coordinated efforts. This could be frustrating at times. I'm sure it frustrates you, it frustrates me, it frustrates everybody anytime, because I would believe a coordinated effort will be more effective. How do you plan to solve this problem?
From my side, from the Himna Dram side, I always try to talk to people, to talk to all the beneficiaries, all the interested parties, and see what's going on, so that the support can be very, very targeted. And I talked to, for example, the head of the AGBU in Armenia, with Vazgen Yagubian, how AGB is going to use their money. I talked to Serpazan in Lebanon, what's their plans overall. And also I met there with the committee members. There is a joint committee, I don't remember the exact name, but there is a joint committee who is coordinating all the support that comes outside and from inside, humanitarian support, and distribute the funds respectively. So, and I think that's the most important thing, to have good communication, synchronizing of the efforts, and that's why we decided to support the Armenian schools, to support the teachers. And when the teacher knows that, you know, it's proved that at least 3 months or 4 months they'll get a salary, so they're gonna stay at the school and work and get salary and survive. Otherwise, you know, when you don't know what could happen next day, you will try to find alternatives. And I think that's the most important now thing in our strategy, that we are keeping teachers, Armenian teachers. By the way, you can, if you have a headache, you can go to, I don't know, American doctor. If you have other problems, you can go, but to other professional. If you have IT issues, you know. But if you would like to learn Armenian history, Armenian language, you know, you have to have Armenian teacher next to you. And I think that our support was very, very targeted and on time. And the same with Syria, with our Syrian brothers and sisters.
You know, you were in the very unique position of meeting and talking and helping major individuals like the Catholicos Aram I of the Great House of Cilicia, and also Krikor Bedros, the Catholic patriarch, and other names. Could you give us an idea, a sense of what was it like to meet them, and what were their concerns, and who else did you meet? Who are the main heads of organizations you met?
The main concern, of course, I always, like when I'm in Lebanon, I always try to meet all of them, all the community leaders, and give my respect and talk to them, discuss the issues. But overall, the main concern is the money. The main concern is the unemployment. The main concern is the disaster. You know, they all have the same issues. And I was very, very happy that they are cooperating with each other, and they are always in contact, always in discussions. And that makes me very happy, because you see that the Armenian community in Lebanon is united, and they all join their efforts to fight the disaster.
You know, people fail to understand, over the past 30 years, we have had an independent Republic of Armenia with its ambassadors, with its representatives, delegations, and I know you were supported greatly by Vahan Atabenkian, the ambassador, I believe, and Zare Sinanian, you mentioned also. These are individuals who represent the Armenian government, you too. My question is, what can you say about the role of the government in helping you out in this mission? There's a lot of happening within the government as a policy and as support on the ground.
Of course, I'm getting support from the government. I'm getting always support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And Vahagn Atabekyan, he was always with me all the time. He's arranging all the meetings and giving very, very wise advices for that. And I wanted, during this meeting, I wanted to give him a credit, and to give a credit to our embassy in Beirut, located in Beirut, because they have very hard time after the blast. And I'm very happy that they are doing their job excellently. So because there is an issue with visas, you know, the consular service now is overloaded, by the way. There are lots of meetings, you know, political things are going on in Lebanon. So, but our crew there, like our embassy there, is doing very good. And I'm very, very proud of that.
You know,
and also, yeah, of course, we're getting support from the Zare Sinanyan, and always discussing the issues, always talking to each other, giving to each other support, and it's working. It's working.
You know, a lot has changed in Armenia, and the Armenian government in the very different ways they are working. And the question, not only with Armenia, Hayasdan All Armenia Fund, but every organization, the question of trust, of transparency, accountability has always been in place. My question is, what steps have you taken to improve that image within Hayasdan All Armenian Fund?
My paper with which I applied for this job to the committee, to the special committee, the transparency and accountability were in the first place. Because my background as well helped me with that, because as you already mentioned, I was working for transparency. Before that, I was a board member of Transparency Armenia, and we managed to have a great website which shows our openness, which shows all our papers, which shows all our reports, financial reports, annual reports, and also after every single fundraising we do, like cause we do, fundraising campaign, after that we share a financial report to all our donors, to all our supporters. We have a huge mailing list, around 10,000, by the way, and we share our financial reports. We share it on our Facebook page, on our website. I'm talking with media all the time about that, and we report every single dollar we spend during our activities. And our website, it's so open that during the fundraising campaigns, you can go there and see who donated to us and how much money. So we went that far to be transparent and accountable to our people, to our donors, to our beneficiaries. And this is our main course. And I think that as far as Himnadram stays transparent, it gets more credit, it gets more confidence, you know, it gets more trust.
You know, I have checked your website, and sometimes too much transparency is also not very good, because one of the friends, and we checked it out, and it said, who is Alexander Miashikian? And why would they spend $123,000 repairing and fixing the statue? Tell us about who is Alexander Miashikian.
Uh, okay. So that was a special donation
I figured
from
so.
Vartanyan family,
Yeah.
and because they built very nice park behind that statue, and the pillars of that statue, they have it has problems. It's and there are security issues, you know, like the blocks are falling down, and they decided to rebuild it, just, you know, to make it a better place, and that's it. Also, they gave us another 60 million drams to install a new irrigation system in the botanical garden of Yerevan. So it's a special project. It's donors demand, you know, donors request. I'm giving you $120,000. Could you please fix it? And uh, Alexander Myasnikian was the prime minister of Armenia in the beginning when the Soviet Armenia established. So, and he did a lot for his country. By the way, he was not from Armenia. He was, I think, from Belarus or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not about himself. It's about the security of the newly rebuilt park next behind the statue.
You know, I've always wanted to know, you have such a very rich background. You know the diaspora, you know Armenia, you were born there, you traveled, you were educated. A question, what in your background are you very happy in terms of helping you in this position? What was very important?
I think it's the experience mostly. I'm historian,
Uh-huh.
and as you mentioned, I have PhD in Armenian history,
Mm-hmm.
medieval ages, Cilician Armenia. But since I started to work in my youngest years, I started with at the Ministry of Education at the Department of Diaspora. That's how it started. So I have a broad experience working with our compatriots, with our diaspora institutions in diaspora, and the experience. Also, I worked for Birthright Armenia. I'm sure you know that organization that
Yes.
bring young people, young Armenians to Armenia. And by the way, that's 6 years that I worked for Birthright were my happiest and years, because I met so many talented young Armenians all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a huge network right now, by the way. I have I know 400 people, young people at that time, and now already most of them are very serious professionals in their fields. So it makes me happy, because that network helps you to understand many things that are outside of Armenia. And traveling and meeting people on place is very important as well. So I think, yeah, my experience makes my job easier.
You know, obviously, you realize there are so many questions we have in the diaspora, and I honestly have a lot of questions. But one question I really would like to move into is, after 31 years after the earthquake, 1988, we have close to 3,000 people in Gyumri who are still living in containers. I understand domik. I thought domik was an Armenian word. It's a Russian word, which means a small house. Yeah. I mean, what is being done? 3 generations living in domik, that's kind of unacceptable, let us say. What is happening? What can be done? What do you think can be done?
Yeah, actually, it's not like that 3,000 people don't have houses, because some of them, you know, they got houses, they received houses, they sold it. You know, the socio-economic situation
Yes.
make people. But of course, the issue is there, and of course, during the last 30 years, we had to rebuild Gyumri. However, we have people who live in that containers as well, as you mentioned, and we call the domics that containers, not like houses. It's a container, it's a metallic container, and they are later they built next to the container other facilities, you know. So Himnadram for the last 4 or 5 years was fundraising money for Gyumri people and buying them houses, just apartments.
Mhm.
And after they give the keys to these people, we demolish that containers so that these people won't go back to their containers.
Mhm. Mhm.
However, when I came to Himnadram, I understood that it's not very effective way to work, because you buy a house for one person and the other person stays aside, and we initiated a very successful fundraising last year in 2019, and we decided to build a house, a building with many apartments and with kindergarten next to it, all the facilities next to it, so that these people can come and live. Like you can, since now we bought around 45 houses, apartments, and now we are building 2 buildings with overall like 40 apartments in it.
Mhm.
So in a year, we solve a problem of 40 people rather than buying them apartments for 5 6 years. And also the concept is very interesting. We're going to install solar panels on the building. We are going to build a very small, nice kindergarten, so that the kids of that building, also the kids around this building, can join this kindergarten. And we don't want to make them a ghetto, we would like them to be absorbed and into the whole society, onto the whole city and population of Gyumri, because usually they feel very not connected to the other part of the population of the city, which is a shame for all of us.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we already have the design of the building. We already have all the calculations, because the city of Gyumri, the council of the city of Gyumri, donated us a land of more than 5,000, yeah, 5,000 hectares, and just next to Mush district, which is a newly built part of the Gyumri. And I think in a month at least, we will have a tender for that. And I hope that many construction companies, good ones, will participate in this tender. And I hope that before the telethon, we're gonna start the construction of that building. And also there is another idea concept. The last floors will become studios for the artists
Mm.
of Gyumri, so
Mm.
that they can live there, and the kids of that house will have full access to their studios, like painters, designers, I don't know,
Sure.
just people who are in art, so they can teach the kids
Sure.
every single day different arts and make them happy.
We are talking about everything Armenian. How has the COVID pandemic affected you?
Uh, uh, Actually, it was a challenge for us,
Mm.
but we started a fundraising against COVID, by the way, in the beginning in mid-March, and we collected $800,000 and
What was it for?
we supported mostly the Ministry of Health with
I see.
masks, with equipment, with
Mhm.
and with state-of-art equipment, by the way, with testing that machines,
Mhm.
very expensive ones. So
Mhm.
we did a lot for that. By the way, the support for Syrian Armenians, we allocated from those funds, because
I see.
we used only $700,000, and we had like around 100 there. So we decided that it's better to use the COVID fundraised money for our compatriots that's suffering from COVID in Syria.
You know, over the many decades and centuries, the support to Armenia has been coming from the diaspora. The highways were to Armenia. And maybe this is the first or second time in the Armenian history of especially the past 30 years that Armenia is reaching out to the diaspora. And it's a historic moment. You're creating history. I mean, it's really something to be proud of.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a momentum. It's a momentum. And this is the second time that Armenia Fund helps our compatriots outside of Armenia.
Mhm.
First was about the Syrian Armenia several years ago during the war. And this is the second time. By the way, if overall, when I was in Lebanon, I got a call from Tashir Group from Samuel Karapetyan, and they donated 100,000 to this Lebanon cause. So we have currently more than $400,000. So this is additional 100,000 also will go to Lebanon to support Armenian schools. We already agreed about that. So overall, for the last 9 months, we supported our Lebanon compatriots with around $600,000, which I think is a good result, and we are trying to be helpful, and we do what we do, and we help how we can help. You know, if not the COVID case this year, I'm sure that we could have collected more, like millions, but you know what's going on, and usually fundraisings for this year are going very bad, but we are doing better, and we already fundraised besides the telethon this year for COVID, for Tavush, and for Lebanon. We fundraised around $1.5 million overall.
Where is the money coming from mainly?
Mainly it comes from Armenia, US, and Russia. And we have lots of online donors from Russia, by the way, like Armenians who live in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, and by the way, for Lebanon, we had the most high figure of donors, online donors, from Malaysia to, very interesting, from Malaysia to Slovakia, for example. I'm not talking about Canada and US and other countries, but so I think it's success because we have currently more than 4,500 online donors via our website. By the way, we have now incorporated PayPal to our payment system, which makes easier for American Armenians, for European Armenians to donate, because when you see a PayPal thing, you know, you trust the system more.
You know, I don't know if Samuel Garabedian will be listening to us in this interview, but I would like to thank him. Honestly, I've never met him, but I've heard so much about his generosity. Here you mentioned supporting in Lebanon. I know he has supported Echmiadzi. One thing I would like to stress, and the whole mankind should hear about it, he has built a church and an altar in Jerusalem, which he dedicated to his father. I mean, it's a very, very noble thing that will be staying there for centuries to come. And people will be reading that sign, Samuel Garabedian, in honor of his dad. And it's really a beautiful church and altar that he rented. I'm sure he's doing a lot more than what we know, but if he ever hears this video, I'd like to thank him personally. I'm sure you would like to say this.
Yeah, by the way, for COVID cause, he donated around $300,000 through Himnadram. And this money was distributed to the 911 service. All 911 service employees, like doctors, nurses, drivers, all of them, they got their a bonus equal to their monthly salary.
That's really, really beautiful. I didn't know that. As I said, I'm sure he does much more. Dr. Haykak Arshamyan, we have to wrap it up. Is there any concerns you have you would like to share with the viewers?
I think I will just call people to be connected to Himnadram, to be to read our news, to visit our website frequently and look what we are doing. Because I think when you would like to evaluate or donate to someone, you need to see what they are doing. So I think Himnadram changed a lot since the last 2 years. And now, we are working on the basis of the networking. Because I think that creating a small, not a network, not a state, but system, networking system all over the world. And when there is a need of uniting, Himnadram is the place, and Himnadram is the bridge that you can be connected to Armenia and to Armenians all over the world.
Մենք այսօր բադիվ ուդինք խոսելու Հայաստան համահայկական հիմնադրամի տնօրեն դոկտոր Haykak Arshamyani հետ բաղման խոսք հայերենով անպայման հայերենով պետք է խոսք մնեք, որպեսզի չի դադարեցվենք, թե ինչու հայերեն չի խոսեցաք։
Սիրով, այո, որովհետև ես էլ եմ նախընտրում հայերեն խոսել, երբ որ մարդիկ, այսինքն զրուցակիցներդ հայախոս են եւ հայոց լեզվի ջատագովն եմ ինքը եւ նախ շնորհակալություն եմ հայտնում այս հնարավորության համար, որովհետեւ մենք լիովին պատահաբար ենք, հիշում եք, իրար հետ ծանոթացել մետրոպոլիտենում Շողակ Վիկի Հովհաննիսյանի շնորհիվ եւ կարծում եմ, որ ես նախ ասեմ, որ ընդհանրապես հիմնադրամի մասին երկու խոսք ասեմ, որ հիմնադրամը վերջին 2 տարիներին ամբողջովին փոխվել է, թե իր աշխատավոճով եւ թե իր հնարավորություններով եւ ճանաչելությամբ նաեւ, որտեղ առաջ մարդիկ հիմնադրամին ճանաչում էին միայն ճանապարհ շինող կազմակերպություն որպես, բայց հիմնադրամը դա չէ։ Հիմնադրամը կարծում եմ այն հետարքիր կարևոր գաղափարներից մեկն է, ինքը որպես այդպիսին ցանցային համակարգի գաղափար է, որը կապում է ամբողջ աշխարհի հայությանը միմյանց հետ, կապում է Հայաստանի հետ եւ ինքը այժմ վստահեցնում եմ ամենավստահելի խողովակներից մեկն է, եթե ցանկություն ունեք Հայաստանում գործելու, օգնելու, Արցախում օգնություն ցույց տալու, որովհետեւ մի բան, այ լավ է որ հայերենով շարունակեցինք, հիշեցին։ Մենք անցած տարվանեն վերջ մինչեւ այսօր մոտ $15 միլիոն ծրագիր ենք իրականացնում Հայաստանում եւ Արցախում։ Եվ մի կարևոր բան է ասեմ, երբ որ ես եկա հիմնադրամ, հիմնադրամի ֆինանսական իրավիճակը այնքան էլ բարվոք չէր։ Այսինքն մեր balance-ը պարտքերն ավելի շատ էին, քան գումարները։ Այսօր հիմնադրամը դրական բալանս ունի, այսինքն հաշվապահության մեջ, բավական մեծ դրական բալանս ունի։ Եվ սա կարծում եմ նաև մեր ուղղակի բաց արդարամիտ աշխատանքի եւ հաշվետվողական աշխատանքի արդյունքն է։
Դոկտոր Haykak Arshamyan, շատ շնորհակալ ենք, հաջողություն կմաղթենք եւ գուսանք շուտով նորեն տեսնվենք։
Ես էլ եմ շատ շնորհակալ։
Երբ եկաք Նյու Յորք։
Առաջին իսկ հնարավորության դեպքում։
Գուսանք շատ շուտով լա։ Հաջողություն։